ahead and advance the slides. First of all, we have our current district governor, Dan Gensler.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Good to see you all.
Welcome, Dan. We have our district governor-elect, Chuck Prado.
Good morning.
Our district governor nominee, Diane Crawford. Past district governor, Marty Peters, and past district governor, Marta Knight. Welcome all. And next, I'd like to introduce our fearless leader for this year. He's here to talk to us about Each One Bring One, our current district governor, Dan Gensler.
Good morning again, everybody. So nice to see you all here. I want to begin by thanking Ron for all the hard work he's put into bringing us today's presentation and the work that, Ron, that you've done on membership. So we're excited to really try and make a difference this year in membership and really putting a big focus on it. So thank you, Ron, for that. And Don Phipps for always being there on for me in many ways, but today again on the Zoom front as we jump back into the Zoom meeting. So thanks for your support and help there. I want to just make a couple of a couple of comments around membership. As I'm going around to the clubs and just talking about the opportunity that we have, one of the things that I'll mention is collectively in our district, we have 3.5 million people that live in our district. And we have 2,800 Rotarians. So that makes it about 1 Rotarian for every 1,200 people in our district. And so the opportunity to grow that is really substantial. There is a big opportunity there. And I think Shaker Mehta's Each One Bring One objective is spot on. And so the encouragement, and we'll talk more about this throughout our time together this morning, but the goal really is to try and help each of our members take accountability of each one bringing one and not keeping Rotary a secret. It's an easy thing, I think, for most of us to do. And I think we've got such an opportunity here in sharing what Rotary is all about and helping others, getting involved and hopefully making a difference in their own lives, let alone the lives of others. So the motto of Each One Bring One is something that we really want to try and emphasize day in and day out. So I also want to just quickly mention we have our district conference coming up, and this is another opportunity for Each One Bring One, or well, that would be wonderful. Could do all that. So we have that coming up in September, the 11th, 12th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So we are looking forward to a big event. You can see the Hotel Del behind me, and we've really put together a great weekend. And I hope you'll join us for the whole weekend. We do have tickets available for Friday only, Saturday only, and then a combo of Friday and Saturday. And then on Sunday, we have Low Tide Ride and Stride. So for those of you that want to participate in that, that'll be a neat opportunity. But the Each One Bring One on Saturday is, we're going to talk about our district at large and what we do, both close to home and far away. So we'll have a number of great presenters that will be sharing some of their experiences that they've done through Rotary. And I think they'll be really educational, inspirational. So if there's somebody that is new to your club and just learning about Rotary, this is a great opportunity for somebody like that to come. If you yourself don't know, a ton about Rotary, and again, another way to learn it is to come to an event like this. There's going to be so much in such a short period of time that you'll really be able to learn a lot about what we're doing as an organization, again, near and far. So with that, I'll hand it back to Ron. And again, I just thank you for taking the time on a Saturday morning to be with us. And we will be repeating these. We'll have a couple more workshop events throughout the year. And I think we're doing these on Zoom, as I recall, Ron. So do plan on coming to those. And we'll just keep continuing to try and grow and share ideas on what's working. So again, thanks for being here.
Great. Thank you very much, Dan. We sure appreciate it. And we all appreciate the leadership that you've given this year and the encouragement for all of us to grow our clubs and our district. And as Dan said, Rotary International President Shekar's goal is Each One Bring One. That means every Rotarian, all 3,000 of us in the district, it's our responsibility to bring at least one guest during the year, and preferably make them a member. And another way to look at this is each one bring one to a service project. As we know, some club meetings with the speakers can be wonderful, some maybe aren't so wonderful. So we just don't know on inviting a member to a club, but a club meeting. But if you invite them to a service project, if you've noticed, when you sweat and work with another person, it creates a special bond. And so I would really encourage you to invite your new members and potential members to service projects so you can create that bond, a much better bond than you can create in a club in a few weeks or even a month. So as Dan said, his goal for each club is to each one bring one and to have at least 1+ net for each club in the district. And I want to explain net. What net means is that you add at least one person to your total amount of people in your club throughout the year, and that includes anybody who's left your club. So if you start out with on July 1, the beginning of the Rotary year, with 30 members, your goal by June 30th is to have at least +1, and preferably +3, 5, 7, 10, but at least +1. I'd like to say that we have some great news. Since July 1, since the new Rotary year, for the first month, we are up 6 new members. So if we keep that up throughout the year, we'll have 72 members we've added to the district. So definitely keep that up. I would like to acknowledge one club who has been just wonderful in the first month of the year. They are +4 net, and that's Escondido Sunrise. So great job, Escondido Sunrise.
Awesome.
Yeah, during the question answer period, maybe you guys could speak up and tell us what you're doing differently and give us some tips. So now I'd like to do a recap of the last workshop we had. The last workshop was May 2021. We had 3 workshops in 21, and as Dan said, we're going to have 3 again this year. So first of all, we talked about why members leave Rotary. I had shared in Rotary International survey that said 31% said it was too expensive, 21% said it was the club environment, and 15% was unmet expectations. So I don't share this for it to be a negative, but to be a positive in encouraging you to change your clubs and make sure you make them interesting and make sure the club environment is inviting. The other thing we talked about is what challenges have you experienced in recruiting millennials and young professionals? Some of the answers were retention, keeping them involved and having them lead committees, club using technology, club flexibility in time and place to meet. The next thing we dealt with is how does your club use social media for membership, recruiting, and retention? Many people said they advertise club events on social media, and they add new members and retain existing. We also talked about the Learning Center, which is a wonderful resource for any Rotary training. It doesn't matter what you want, anything is available on that Learning Center. We talked about the smartphone app that's out now, where you just tap the link and you go straight into the Learning Center. And at the end of this presentation, I'll share the website on a slide for that. So next, I would like to introduce a speaker we have. She is the district governor nominee for this district. She's in the Rotary Club of Southeast San Diego. Diane Crawford, take it away.
Thanks very much, Ron. Good morning, everybody. I'm excited to see you all. Thank you for spending your Saturday with us. I wanted to talk to you about a few things this morning. First of all, I believe that this is a really exciting time for Rotary. In the last year and a half, people have really realized they need to do more as far as contributing to the community, to their family, to their neighborhoods, to their cities, and a lot of people are interested in being involved. Right now, more than ever, people want to find a place where they feel like they belong, and I think that for some people, it might just be Rotary. One of the things I've learned in my years of membership is that the more options you have for meetings and membership types, the more potential candidates you're going to attract. So if you're sticking with the old way that we used to do business as a traditional club, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to grow, you have to embrace some of these new ideas that are coming out and different ways to grow your club, which is what I want to talk to you about. You've heard me say a lot of times over the last few years that Rotary isn't for everyone, but there's a place in Rotary for everyone. They can either be a member, they can be a sponsor, they can be a donor, they can be a volunteer, they can be a recipient. Everyone has a place in Rotary, and we need to expand our thinking as to how we approach our look at membership. Some things I wanted to share and touch on this morning was, first of all, DEI. You've heard that term bandied around quite a bit. It's diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we want to make the clubs more inclusive. I've gotten a lot of calls from club presidents and membership chairs about how do we go about doing that. Let's take it from the really simple level. First thing you should do is look at your programs, look at your speakers. You can start right there. It's very simple. Try to start scheduling more diverse speakers that are outside of the realm of what you usually present to the club and give them some options. Usually those speakers will come to you with their own associations or their own networks, and that may introduce you into another group of folks that you haven't been able to attract before. Another thing you should consider on a very simple level, every community has their various events, their cultural events, their occasions, whatever it might be. Reach out and find out if there's opportunities to sponsor any of those things or to participate as a Rotary Club so that you can get to know these communities a little bit better and they can get to know your club in Rotary. It's not that hard to become diverse if you start looking at it from the very simple aspect of let's just see what's in our community. The other thing I wanted to share with you is it's really a good idea to look at your current makeup of your membership team. Is your membership committee diverse? Do you have young members on there? Do you have some older members, some folks that may not be from corporate America? Let's mix it up a little bit. Let's make the committee look like the community that we want to attract, and maybe that will open up a whole new area of recruitment for you. So that's what I want to say about DEI. It's much more complicated than that. It's much more diverse than that. But let's start at the very basic levels and just start looking at the programs and start looking where we can be of assistance to them versus how do we get them into our club. The next thing I wanted to touch on was the development of new clubs. I mentioned when I started that the more options you have for meetings and membership, the more people you will attract. You can't go stale because you won't consider any other options. That's just crazy. We need all of you to continue to do the great work that you're doing. So if you're seeing that people can't come to your lunch meetings or don't want to come to the in-person meetings, then you have to have a hybrid mix. That's almost a given. Everybody's going to be hybrid when we finally get back. But whatever it is that they need, give them the type of meeting that they're looking for. A lot of people want to meet at happy hour. A lot of people might want to meet just on a Saturday morning. And then a lot of clubs are choosing just to be virtual. They're not going back to in-person, and they're becoming even more effective in drawing more members. Remember, when you're virtual, you can have a member from anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be in your community. As long as they're contributing to the club and Rotary, they can be anywhere. So now the whole world is open to you, not only for speakers, but also for members. Again, I want to push you guys to think outside the box because I'm excited about the opportunity that Rotary has right now in this unique situation to be a major contributor to changing how the world is right now, making significant changes, and we can't do it with 2,800 people. We've got to get more people in here. The next thing I wanted to point out to you guys, if I sound a little excited, it's because I am. So Ron only gave me 5 minutes. I'm trying to talk fast. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is, finish up with the new clubs. Just to give you an idea, there are cause-based clubs like our environmental club in Solana Beach. You've got community-based clubs, you've got e-clubs, you've got alumni clubs, you've got innovation clubs. Whatever kind of club you want to make, you can do it. It requires 25 new members and a club to sponsor. We can talk to you about that further. The next tool I wanted to talk about, I hope you can see, is this little thing right here that we all get in the mail every single month. Well, the Rotary Magazine is full of fantastic stories about projects, about donations, about people that are doing really great things in the world. But the other thing about the magazine is that it's now mobile. You can download the magazine and send it out to prospects. You can send it out to your members. You can feature articles. You can send the whole magazine. They can see what we're all about from the world view. And it's a really cool feature that I'm going to start using. Remember, the clubs buy you, new members buy you first and then Rotary after. But we're all Rotarians, so this is a great way to let them know what we're doing on an international basis. Ron mentioned the Learning Center a couple of minutes ago. I need you guys to, if you haven't looked at it, you need to look at it. This is a great way to feature your speakers. If you've got a speaker coming in on about a certain topic, maybe it's leadership, maybe it's public speaking, maybe it's community development, you can point your members to certain courses that they can take before the speaker comes in. You can make projects out of the courses. You can develop your own criteria for your Red Badgers, for your leadership development teams through the Learning Center. It's a fantastic tool that if you're not using, you're really missing it. The other thing I wanted to mention is partnering. We have, as you know, I'm from a club of 20. And that's not a very big club, although it is the average size of most Rotary clubs in the world. We have become experts at partnering with other clubs. We know we can only do so much with 20 people, but we have big projects that we need to do. So we have partners through Rotary clubs, through local organizations, through just connections that we've made over the years. That's a really big component to really servicing the community. And sometimes you start to get members from those other organizations wanting to take part in Rotary as Rotarians. So that's another great place for you to look at for drawing new members. And then partnering with other clubs on projects. Yeah, we could do a project with 20 people, or I can call a couple of my friends at other clubs and do a project with 60 volunteers on a much bigger basis and have bigger impact in the community. The last thing I wanted to mention is probably the most important thing. We need to have fun at this. We work really hard at this business of service, and we're really good at what we do, but we need to have fun. People have only so much time to commit to volunteerism, the family, the job, and all of that. We need to give them a reason to want to come. It's not just about the family, it's about them enjoying the work that they're doing. And everybody's here to get involved, to be in projects, so that's got to be a priority, making sure you're doing as many projects as you can and inviting as many potential candidates as possible. Other than that, I think my time is up, Ron. I think I got everything in. Sorry if I talked a little fast. Don's recording it.
Diane.
All right, back to you, Ron.
Yeah, I can always count on you to fit a whole lot of information in a little bit of time.
Most important, get excited. It's going to be a great
and with lots of excitement. Thank you, Diane. I sure appreciate it. Diane is my predecessor. She used to be the district membership chair and did a wonderful job and has been a wonderful mentor to me. So thank you. Next, we're going to go into the breakout session. And this is the question I want you to answer in the breakout question. How is your club working towards a net gain in 2021 for your club membership? So we're going to have a breakout wrap up after this. You have 20 minutes to talk about this. And Don, go ahead and put people in the breakouts and have fun.
All righty then.
Okay.
Everybody's gone.
Okay. I can't see anybody. The only ones I can see is me.
So I stopped sharing.
Okay.
So,
And-
right, yeah.
And still the only one I can see is me.
Well, it depends on, let's see, do I
Oh,
still?
I guess it's just you and me, huh?
That's, that's, that's correct. So
Okay.
I'll remove the spotlight and then now you should see both of us, right? So,
Okay, I get it.
all right, so I'm going to pause the recording.
Can you please put me back in my room?
What's that?
Hey,
Can you please put me back in my room?
They're closing.
I know, but I'm recording everything and I accidentally pushed the button.
Oh, let me see if I can push it back in. So, whoops.
yeah, I think it's over.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's
That's
okay.
okay. That happens.
Michael, did you get a couple ideas that you can share?
Oh yeah, I got plenty of great ideas actually.
Okay,
Yeah, thank
if you can limit it to 2, that would be great.
He
The
also
two
got his
best.
name changed on his screen there.
Us Hawaiians, we have multiple names. Okay, so get used to it. Are you asking me to start?
No, not yet.
no.
Let's wait till
Oh,
everybody
Everybody's
gets
not
back.
yet.
All right, okay.
Why is it never enough time? Just when you get into the good stuff.
Hey, so you're picking up after Steve.
Yes, yes.
Now that you can't see you, so you know.
I need to check.
All right, so everybody's back.
Okay. Well, now, if you can start the slide.
Yep.
Don? I hope you guys had a great time in the breakout, and it always ends too soon, and I'm sorry about that, but it's great to hear that you guys had a great breakout. So now we'd like to do the wrap up. I'd like to hear from each scribe from each breakout, 2 ideas max at this point. If we have extra time, we'll ask for more, but right now 2. So first of all, I'd like to call on Dan Gensler's group.
Okay, this is Rob Taylor. I was a scribe. We had a few ideas. One was we have Oceanside Rotary Club has a football team theme where they will score members, give them a touchdown for bringing somebody in who becomes a new member, and a field goal if they bring a new guest, and they keep track on a tote board. And so there's a competition going on to see who can be the most productive in terms of getting new members in.
To be clear, that was a past idea. Not sure what we're doing this year, but it worked.
Sorry, but hey, we'll take anything that works.
Sounds
Secondly,
great.
Alex from Rancho Bernardo is talking about doing. They're going for diversity, and
It
they're
looks like your Wi-Fi name or password has changed.
they're
To update your Wi-Fi information, go to the Alexa app.
sorry. Okay. They are doing service projects in their neighboring communities, and going out there and advertising what they're doing, and using that as a recruiting tool to get people to join. Ask if they know anybody in their surrounding communities. They're asking them to join, and they're publicizing it and telling them where they're going to be, and using that as a recruiting tool for a more diverse population than they have in there. And then also, just I know this is the third one. We have a monthly social at Coronado, and our three most recent prospects are coming from that were invited to the social and apparently had a good time. So I recommend a monthly evening social activity where people are having fun.
Great.
Hey, Ron.
Thank you, Robert.
Hey, Ron.
Yes.
Ron, if I could just add to Rob's comments, there is a new program with Rotary International that it's called the Membership Society, and they honor or they recognize members that have sponsored X number of new members. So you might want to Google that when you get to the website next time. Membership Society is brand new.
That's to add on to that, it's only members that have brought in more than 25 members. So, okay, so Chuck Chuck's group.
Yes, Michael Ogard was our scribe.
Okay, so our breakup group was equally distributed between large clubs and smaller clubs. And the larger clubs, I'll just say it seems like there was an emphasis on focusing on printed media and also contacting the people who are appearing at 20% or fewer meetings. In the smaller clubs, there's been more of an emphasis on articulating vision and doing one-on-one encounters even prior to coming to the breakfast meeting, just to make sure that we're recruiting people that have a long-term interest and goal for Rotary.
Perfect, Michael. Thank you. And now Diane Crawford's group.
That's Nancy.
Nancy? May need to unmute yourself.
So we had a fair number of good ideas going. Linda from the Coronado Binational group talked about they network with other organizations, and that has seemed to get them some new members. Phil at Rancho Bernardo, they asked their presenters either to participate in a project and then encourage them to come in as members, which is how I joined Rotary. We talked about the corporate membership rate and the potential to have more members who rotate through. And I talked about what we do with the +1 membership. We have both a youth membership and a +1. +1 is allowing a spouse or significant other to join the club without paying the same level of dues. They pay for their breakfasts, we're a breakfast club, and but they don't have to pay the same level of dues. We reduce the cost so that for a couple, if both participate, it's a reduced cost.
Great, thank you very much, Nancy. And next we have Marty Peters' group.
Villas, and I was the scribe appointed by Marty for our group. Luann, who's the P for Coronado, kicked it off with saying that they are analyzing who comes to meetings and who doesn't, and why. And that it's, as Marty also highlighted, it's important to take a look at not only the hole at the top, as he expressed it, the folks who are coming in, but the hole at the bottom who's leaving. Mike Barden from my club mentioned that everyone in the club is basically on a membership committee. That's an old idea, right? But the new idea being that happy, active, present members attract others, especially as has been mentioned before in service projects. And then Michelle from El Camino Real Oceanside mentioned that their club is taking a specific look at whether or not the folks invited are a good fit for the club. Are they committed to paying their bills as well as coming to meetings, or have they just been invited on a kind of a warm body basis? And she, along with the other two folks I mentioned, have a real focus on mentoring at this point. We did talk a little bit about wearing a pin at all times, and Marty apparently met the King of Sweden by wearing his pin, but also, you know, getting the brand out there through, as Luann was saying, hats and shirts or vests. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention is I work for USD. And so when we take a look at the 1.3 million folks in San Diego, it seems like a wealth of population to be able to, you know, bring into college or bring into Rotary. And the truth is a little bit narrower than that. If we take that 1.3 million and subtract out folks who would not be able to join us for whatever reason, they're under 15 years of age, or they're geographically out of the area, I think the pool becomes much smaller. And Rotary is unfortunately really constricted by the geography of the meetings. So I think that's something worth taking a look at.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Cynthia. How about Bonnie Welch's group?
And Alan was our scribe.
Hi, everyone. So we had a number of ideas and we got cut off by our 58 seconds to go. So I'll capture the best I can. So Celia introduced from Southeast, introduced something which resonated with all of us. When you have a guest, when a guest does come along, make sure that people engage with that guest, and that even more that there is someone nominated to look after that guest. So we all agreed that that was so important, that once they come in, they immediately are, shall we say, embraced by other people. The other thing that I commented on from a Rancho Bernardo perspective is over the last year, we have had a number of people sort of make a little bit of contact with us and then say, yeah, but I want the social side. I'm going to come, I'll talk to you later once you get back to in-person meetings. And our club is now coming back to in-person. So I think a structured and organized way to keep contact and reach out to those people and make sure that they have sponsors that continue to touch. Like we've got one very nice lady who met through their exercise club, and once her kids get back to school, she's going to start. She's going to come and participate. So that continuing to work those prospects is a key part. And I'll just add one extra part, not for new members, but actually the retention of members. And that is we want to engage those new members. So we're going to start having a series of what we call fireside chats to help them to understand our club and Rotary and socialize as well to meet other new members.
Great, thank you very much, Alan. And last we have Ron John Lahiri's group.
Jim was our scribe for that.
Thank you, Ron John. Well, we had a lot of great ideas with our group here. We came with two, and they focused on fellowship groups. I think the two that we had here are primarily retention-based. What I see is retention-based will allow members to become fully engaged and want to bring in other members here. So it'll be a natural extension for growth. So fellowship groups that would include folks that would have similar hobbies through Rotary, and experiencing inviting members with or potential members with similar experience. The other portion would be when we have our new member orientation, doing it quarterly, identify what the new member is predisposed to do, what they would like to do. Are they more analytical? Would they be better with money, etc.? And helping guide them to the right volunteer position, again, to enroll them, to become part of the organization and want to bring in others as a result.
Great, Jim. Thank you. There's been some wonderful ideas. I really appreciate you sharing, and I'm glad that you guys got a lot from these meetings. We have a few minutes. If there are any more burning ideas that you'd like to share, go ahead and unmute yourself and share. Anybody?
This is Ron John. I guess one of the things that I'm interested in to see is how other clubs are using or capitalizing on social media.
This is TG Vallis. Can you hear me all right?
Ron John, go ahead and go. Okay. Yes, we can hear you, but let's let Ron John finish up first.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to see how various clubs are capitalizing on social media to try and attract the a younger audience, or to market their club's service projects, and how successful that's been.
Great, thank you, Ron John. And the person who spoke up, was it TG?
Yes, one thing that has worked well in our club, we're a smaller club, and at the end of the meeting, Paul Friedman, our president, will ask one or two members specifically why they joined Rotary, and some excellent things have come out of that, because if we have a potential member there, they get a feel for what they're going to gain by joining our club.
Hmm.
So you might want to consider that. Paul has it's an excellent thing to do based on whether or not you have the time at the conclusion of the meeting. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Another great question is not only when they joined or why they joined Rotary, but when they became a Rotarian. You get some very interesting stories on that, because many people join Rotary for the wrong reasons. They join it to increase their business or get leads, but then they get involved and start volunteering, and they learn more about Rotary, and they become a true Rotarian. So to hear stories about when they became a Rotarian is very interesting also.
Ron, I had one more thing to add. And this was actually from Alex, and the idea of publicizing when you're doing community service and inviting the community to come and join you in this community service. So whether it's letting the chamber know and let them disseminate it to their members, or putting an article in the local paper, that we're doing this community type service project on Saturday, come join us. Thought that was a really great idea to attract people who are service minded, but perhaps not Rotarians.
I think everything that we do has to have membership in mind, whether it's PR or the projects or fundraising. We have to keep membership in mind and how it's going to play to potential new members.
We've got a question from Maria.
More of a, yeah, it's we have such an amazing program with Model United Nations, and we have music camp, and we have had several programs that have been there for more than 15 years. So as I'm sure there's base information on the participants, so maybe reach out. I don't know if we could reach out to the former participants and invite them back to the clubs, and looking into, because they already kind of know what Rotary is. But when I ask, for example, the former Youth Exchange students or the Model Unite Moon participants, why haven't they joined Rotary? And many times that's because they haven't been invited. And also there's a lot, well, right now everything changed with this pandemic, but there's a lot of trainings and networking opportunities for nonprofits. So if we went there as to recruit, that would be, I don't know if that would be something that we could organize, and not necessarily recruit for our own clubs, because we have different personalities, and again, geographically we're in different areas. But think about recruiting them for the Rotary family, not necessarily our own club. Maybe they're a better fit for other clubs, and just help each other.
Yes. Great point.
Really good point.
Ron?
Yes.
Yes, this is Gordon Knight. You had mentioned at the beginning of this meeting that you would tell us how to get to the Learning Center.
Yes, the last slide of the presentation will show you that.
Okay.
So you'll see it come up on the screen.
Thank you.
Sure.
May I also ask a question?
Sure.
I'm trying to get our newsletters sent out to our Oceanside clubs, but maybe, I think the idea came up that maybe we should keep each other more informed, so we know where we can send people. Maybe a particular club has a particular emphasis that we don't know about, and therefore we get them involved in Rotary, and maybe not necessarily with our club, but with a club that might be more, meeting to their interest. I think it would be helpful if we had some sort of forum where we could share newsletters.
All right. Well, thank you so much for all of your input. I really appreciate it. There's been some wonderful ideas that have come out, and I think hopefully it's helped all of you so that you can take this information back to your club and help you grow. So what we're going to do now is go into the group question. And this is going to be, it'll be the next slide, Don. And this will be a question for all of you. We're going to do it live. We're not going to do it in a breakout. So what challenges, concerns, or special assistance might you need or have in regard to a net gain in 2020, 21, or 22 in your club membership? So, I'm sorry, Diane, did you say something?
I was just going to add that has to do with retention too. We have to look at the backside, the retention side.
Correct. So feel free to unmute and share. Anybody who has something to share in regard to this question?
May I? Yes, I do. And Diane helped me a great deal, but I still need to have some help we've got 10 people waiting to come into the club, and our membership, it doesn't work well on Zoom in doing that. And Diane has said I could call her to get some ideas from anybody on how to get these 10 members in a very personal and welcoming way over Zoom. Do you hear that?
I don't understand the question. Could you repeat it differently?
Yes, we did, Gordon.
His concern is that some members don't like the idea of doing inductions over Zoom, and they feel that's very impersonal. So he's looking for assistance in making it more of a professional and enjoyable type of a thing, so that we can get all these members in. So Dan, I volunteered you and I to do the inductions.
Well, I was this Ranjan, like last year during COVID, you know, we inducted quite a few members, and we had Steve Whiteson do the inductions, and it was nice to have the district governor do it because it's easy, because it's over Zoom and there's not a whole lot of traveling. But I thought it was a good way to sort of make it special for new members. As special as we could make it. I mean, that's the whole challenge, but try and make it at least somewhat unique in having a district governor induct them. So, and he did a great job. I thought everyone enjoyed it.
I have to agree. At Southeast Rotary, we had Steve also do it via Zoom, and that was very special also. And it was fun. He you know how he is. He made jokes and had fun, but it's very special for the new member. I think also this year, Diane mentioned we're having a new member be inducted, and we're going to have a project on a Saturday. Well, we're going to make it Thursday evening, so we're going to have the new person be inducted at that day. It's going to be special. Diane will be there also, and it'll be an in-person, but it's going to be as a service project event. So I think that's going to be meaningful to the new member, because that's why she's joining, because she wants to give back to the community. So anyway, hopefully that'll turn out good too.
And Rancho Santa Fe did the same thing with Steve inducting our new members. And then we even had a member who had been inducted on Zoom, and when we went back in person, she asked for a redo. So we inducted her at a meeting, and by that time she just hit the ground running, and so that was really wonderful. My big question is, I personally am working on our local community. We've lost a lot of our public service members and business members in our community. We have 65 people, but we only have probably about half of those that are active. We have a lot of people on the Rule of 85. So I would like to know, in the past, we've just done a regular membership for these service people. I'm talking about the principal and of the school, let's say, and if you have a mayor, and you have we have an association and we have a patrol. I mean, we have people that used to be members and they were individual members. And I'd like to make it a little bit more official. And I was looking at all the different memberships that Rotary recommends, and it's just, it's so many different ways you can structure it. And I wanted to find out if anybody has a special, especially with getting these people who used to have members in. So if the fire department used to have the chief, and now we're going to go back to them, a few years later, are you waiving the joining fee? Are you, do you charge the regular fees? Do you encourage them to come to lunch? I think we're a lunch meeting. We've already which is good for these groups because they'll be at work. And we've already decided that we want them there. We don't want them just to be in name only. So ideas welcomed.
Could you have a returning member program?
Well, they're not the same people. In other words,
oh, they're not the same people.
No, these people have retired and then somehow we didn't get the predecessor in. And we have somebody who just retired, who was really active, was even a president at one time. And he said, he's going to work on that. And it just rang a bell in my head that we need to get all of these people on more of a continuity so that we don't have to, like if the principal goes to a different school, then we get the current principal to continue the membership. So
we're talking about corporate or business membership, and when the primary member leaves, how do we engage the rest of the organization and bring somebody in to take their place, right?
Right, although we weren't sure we wanted to open it just up to business membership. We were thinking of maybe a special public service business membership, but we're looking at both options. And you and I talked a bit about business memberships already by email. So
Chuck, does Club 33 have anything special for like business leaders, business, the community, the fire chiefs, the servants, servants of
public servants.
Public servants. Chuck? Well, we'll have to stay tuned for that answer. Let me ask around, Elizabeth. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
This is Alan from. Okay.
I was just going to say, Renee's had her hand up for a little bit. Renee, do you have a question?
Not a question, just Oceanside Rotary, what we did when we were doing inductions on Zoom. We basically had a Rotarian go over and drop off the new member packet, a bottle of wine, and a cheese and meat tray. And the two people that we did that for, they were blown away. They didn't know that anybody was even coming. And so they had their badges and their new member packet and their wine and their cheese on the day of their induction. And they said that they were extremely touched by just that little act of kindness.
That's a great idea.
Dang, Renee, I want to join your club.
Yeah.
I just want to know, was it $2, Chuck?
No.
This is Alan. I wanted to go back to Martin's question about he's got the challenge of too many prospects, maybe. One thing that we do is as part of the membership chair committee, but we have one person who's nominated to find the appropriate mentor for that new member. And even if somebody is wary about coming to a big meeting, they might be willing to meet one-on-one with their mentor. So, for example, we've just had 2 new members join. Dan inducted them for it with us. And they were blown away by just engaging. She said, "I've got a new best friend," and that was so nice. So that mentor then guides them through. We have a structured checklist for what we call the red badge checklist that they go through, and the whole idea of that is to introduce them to the club and to the board and different activities and the district. And in fact, one of the things I mentioned is that we're going to be doing these fireside chats on the retention side of things for new members. And part of that will be to introduce them to the Learning Center. Because as membership chairs, when you look at the members and how many of them are actually have logged into Club Runner and into the Learning Center, it's unfortunately rather thin, shall I put it kindly. So I think that I really would like to see us make better use of those resources, both the people side and the technology side.
Thank you, Alan.
One of the things that came up from one of my counterparts in my class was some clubs are starting to hold a speaker series that are focused on specific topics. Might be the environment, could be public safety, could be, I don't know, justice, whatever it might be. And they've been able to draw out very large crowds because of the interest in those areas, which I thought was interesting. Another idea to think about, a series of speakers that all related to one topic.
Question?
Can I just say something about that series of speakers? Of course, you know, no good deed goes unpunished. So we have been doing that because we've had a lot of interest in membership. I mean, our program chair was interested in gardening, and we ended up sponsoring the community garden, and we've had plants about monarch butterflies, and then we got some grumbling from members who said, I'm fed up with gardening, I'm not interested in gardens and the environment. So I was just a warning, you know, if you have a speaker series, don't make it too many.
Right.
Ron, it's Marty. I'd like to ask specific. How many of these clubs are actually using firesides? And more importantly, how many of those new members, say looking back for 2 years, are being brought to the fireside with their significant other? It's an amazing way to get new members when the partner believes more of what the spouse is doing in Rotary, and you get couples that join. Would
Right.
anybody care to comment on firesides? Are you using them more than once a year?
And for those of you who don't know the word fireside, it's the member orientation.
Yeah, we have done that for some time, and we now it's called a deckside chat, mostly because we sit outside and have wine and what have you. So in fact, I think our last 3 members all came in as couples. I don't know that it was completely as a result of the deckside chat, but nevertheless, I think you know, plying them with hors d'oeuvres and wine whilst you discuss Rotary is a pretty good strategy.
I think the personal stories that are shared by the people that are there with the spouses reinforces the commitment of why we are members. It isn't about networking for business. It's about relationships.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much to everyone for sharing and speaking up. I think some great ideas came out in that session. Next, I would like to introduce Rachel Hopkins. She is the District Public Image Chair. She's also a member, and Don, if you could bring the next slide up. She's also a member of the Rotary Club of Carlsbad. So Rachel, go ahead and take it away.
Hi, glad to meet everybody. Can you hear me?
Rachel.
Yep. Cam.
Great. All right. So thank you very much for having me, Ron, and all interesting ideas. It was great to hear what you were doing to bring in new members and things like that. And I did hear some information, questions and things about social media and digital media, things like that. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the social media and how we can use it for membership. So when I say social media, most people kind of think, you know, Facebook, Instagram, that kind of thing. Yes, social media is that, but it's really about the digital footprint. And the interesting thing about a digital footprint is everybody uses it. So it doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, where you came from. If you want to find something out, you'll go to the interwebs, as I like to say that. So you'll go to your phone, you'll go to the computer, you'll go there if your friend is going to have a medical procedure you want to find out. what's going to happen. So everybody goes and checks that out, including potential members. So if you say, hey, I belong to Rotary, here, this club that I belong to, it's for philanthropy. We do a lot of volunteer things. They're going to go and look it up, right? 100% going to go look it up. So really your digital footprint is there to help that membership, help that member kind of come in and to back up your story of this is what we do as a club, and this is what we do as an organization. So it's really there to engage and excite the people that you are trying to bring in. And so that's really about creating the brand for your club, right? Creating what your personality of your club is. And so when we look at all, social media and digital footprint, that could be as small as, hey, it's just a really nice website. So when people go look at it, they can see your activities, they can see the people in there, they can see your fun activities, your networking, where you meet, all that good stuff. And then it could be everything from Facebook, Instagram, to LinkedIn, which is more the professional, the kind of the professional network that people go to. So there's a lot, that's kind of our bread and butter, not always, but it is a different way to connect with people. So you can really put on there anything that you're doing, right? Activities, fun events. We had a golf scramble. It was a fundraiser golf scramble. And we actually had somebody propose to their potential spouse on the golf course. And so you better believe that I made that big and made that really fun on social media because it was so cool. So I put a video on that. So all that kind of creates the image of your club and of Rotary. And so this is really kind of it could be a retrospective of what you've been doing, but also kind of the forward-looking, the prospective in terms of you can put events on there. You can, link and buy tickets and things like that. And it's really about when that person goes and looks up, the potential member goes and looks up Rotary and your club, they see all the cool things that you've done and they go, oh, okay. And then they get more of a broad picture of what you guys are all about. And you don't have to go through all of your activities and all this stuff to really try to find out what engages them. It's self-selecting, right? They're going to find the activity that they like. So I think, what was it? Nancy said that you mentioned that people come in because of a project. Absolutely. So people find what they want and they clue in on that. So if they come in and say, hey, you know what? I'm really for the environment, or I really want to field the homeless, they're going to go find that activity. And that's one way. That's a great way to bring them in. So thank you for that comment, Nancy. So the next slide. So the next slide, so any ideas, right? A lot of people come to me and say, well, we're not good at social media. I don't know what to put on there. Put on anything that, obviously keep it clean, but put on anything that your club does in terms of the activities, volunteer events. People love photos, even videos. Put on there a little video of what your president talking about some of the things that they're going to do this year. Any networking events, if you have fundraisers that might be a networking event, that might be why maybe some younger members want to join. So that is something to put on there as well. There's a lot of information on the RI website. If you go on the RI website and go to manage, you see that they're all underlined in that blue square there. You go to manage and then brand center, and the materials will find a ton of things that you can use if, for example, you don't have something in a particular span of time, right? There's pictures there, there's videos, there's ads, all sorts of things that you can put on your website. If, say, you have 4 weeks it's dark, have somebody go on and put this on LinkedIn or something. They also have media advisory templates. So if you wanted to publicize an event coming up, you can go, there's a template, you just fill in the who, what, where, why, and how, and you can deliver that to your local you know, a publication, whether it's actually published or whether it's online, digital, that is super helpful too. They also have guidelines, which is a good idea. So that's just a little bit of about, you know, my 2 minutes of social media digital footprint. Does anybody have any questions? I kind of talked quickly the whole time. Does anybody have any questions? Or I should ask, what are your questions?
Thank you.
Okay.
That's it? Okay. Well, if you have any questions, you can always just send them to me. If you need help with anything, just let me know.
Thank
It
you
looks
very much.
like Michael had a question.
Yeah, it's just related to my earlier question regarding newsletters and monthly. Do clubs do monthly newsletters, and is there any medium for exchange through our My Rotary or anything like that?
Well, like you're talking about it like an internal club newsletter, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can do email marketing through Club Runner if you have that. I know not every club is Club Runner, but that's a great way to get out to the members of the club. If you have it on your website as well, you could always put a digital link, you know, on your any of your channels, you know, LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, to that, you know, to that newsletter, and it can be completely digital. Those are probably two ways. Have you tried that? How are you kind of distributing it right now?
Right now, I'm just, you know, just straight email. But I was thinking, because the idea came up that maybe what we ought to do is, instead of trying to be everything, each club can have a particular focus. And that way we can maybe engage more the interest of a broader spectrum of people in our community. That's all.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, if you wanted to have your club focus on, you know, helping victims of human trafficking or sustainability or whatever, I think your digital footprint obviously needs to reflect that, and that will draw more people in. You know, use of keywords and things like that, putting that into your website, and I can help you with that if you'd like. But yeah, would draw more. It could potentially draw more people in if they're looking for that type of volunteering. Because you're absolutely right. People are going to go to what they want to go do, right? So it's not going to be, hey, I want to join Rotary. It's more of a, hey, I want to go do something, right? I want to go do a beach cleanup, or I want to go feed the homeless, or I want to help in this area, right? So you're absolutely right. People kind of go for a certain reason, and I know there are clubs that do that. There's a club up in I think maybe it's in LA County that does only helping victims of human trafficking. I think the Solana Club is mainly focused on environmental sustainability,
right.
Things like that. So yeah, those tend to do that. But if you put those stories of what you have done on your website, that's how people are going to come in to the website.
Great. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Yeah, sorry, that's a lot.
We appreciate you sharing how we can use social media to grow our clubs. So thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Next, I'd like to introduce a new member of the district membership committee, Ron John Lahiri. He's a member of the La Jolla Golden Triangle Rotary Club. He was the membership chair for that club for the last 3 years. And last year, we brought in 9 new members in the 2021 year. Ron John, would you like to say a couple words?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Ron John Lahiri. And Ron apparently didn't have to look too far to get a new helper. But yeah, I'm looking forward to working with Ron and everyone to just help the district grow the numbers and really get the name of Rotary out there. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Ron John, and welcome to the committee. Next, I'd like to do just a question and answer period. And And the moderators for this will be myself, Diane Crawford, and Ron John Lahiri. So feel free to ask any questions you have about membership, and we're here for you. Don't all go at once.
This is Alan. I have a question about emails. We use Club Runner for our emails broadcast to our membership. I'm interested, do other clubs use Club Runner for maintaining prospects lists and friends of the club to also send out ongoing updates in a light way?
This is Ron John. I don't use Club Runner per se. I have I keep my own sort of database or spreadsheet of tracking guests and potential members and members. So we kind of track where they are in the pipeline. But, I think there's different ways you can do it in terms of setting up Google databases or things like that. I haven't really figured out how to use Club Runner for that, to be perfectly honest. But I think it just depends on sort of the level of sophistication that you have. But tracking those members and keeping logs of who's coming to your members, your meetings and things is important for repeated follow-up. And so every week, when we send out our invites, I try to send out a sort of a group email to prospective members to keep them informed of when meetings are, Zoom call-ins and things like that.
Right.
Ron John, I have a question for you. Nancy mentioned that you guys have a really good program with following up your visitors to your club. Can you describe what you do after someone comes to visit?
So what we do is, really it's just trying to get as many touches to them as possible. So when they come to visit the club, trying to follow up as soon as possible, send them an email. We've really done a lot of work over the past year on making sure that our website is up to date with our projects, having our membership application and information on the website so they can use that as a resource. And then really just making sure that membership is touching them. And then also that if there's other people in the club, making sure that they're also connecting with them as many times after the meeting to try and to keep them engaged. And that was especially useful, I think, during COVID, when we were all not meeting in person, but constant, keeping them, sending out the regular emails, inviting them to the meetings and things like that was really something I really tried to focus on to try and make sure that we kept them coming back.
Right. I have another question for the group that came up earlier this week. For those of you that have corporate or business memberships, obviously the primary member goes through the process of being vetted. Do you also vet the other members that can rotate through the members under that membership, or how do you handle that? Anybody that has a corporate or business membership option.
We relied at La Jolla, we rely on the primary member of the corporation to vet the 2 or 3 people that he or she wants to follow her and be with her or him.
Gordon, do you put the sub members underneath that main member through the same application process as you do a standard member?
No, we don't. We leave that up to the lead member, and if she gets or he gets transferred, then we will do that to the one following her or him.
Thank you.
And when you have a corporate or business membership, do you count just the primary, or do you count all the sub?
We count just the primary.
Just the primary. Okay.
We have a question from Rob Taylor.
Go
Hi
ahead,
there.
Rob.
Hi. I've just had a question come in on my on my cell phone while the meeting was going on. That seems pretty relevant. We have a pretty aging population in our club, and the question came up. Some of them may be asking to go honorary as opposed to a regular membership. Obviously, that is a negative as far as net gain is concerned. What's the difference between honorary membership and R85, and would that be appropriate for somebody like this?
My understanding, they did away with the 85 rule, and the honorary membership doesn't pay dues.
Okay.
All right.
Do you have anything is there any alternative for somebody who's been a member for a long time?
No,
Wants to,
but Rob, you can do whatever you want in your own club.
right, okay.
Okay, this,
All right, thanks.
thank you, Rob. I want to make sure we end on time and we're at that point. So Don, if you could go to the next slide. I gave you some resources here. Here is the website address to the Learning Center. And I'd really encourage you all to write that down and use that. It's a wonderful, wonderful resource. The Zoom recording and chat links will be sent out to all participants. So I'd like to end this meeting now. I'd like to say thank you to everybody for giving up an hour and a half of your Saturday morning. It's really great that you did that. And I'd like to especially thank Don Phipps, Diane Crawford, Ron John Lahiri, Rachel Hopkins, the breakout leaders and scribes. You guys all did a wonderful job. And so our meeting is over now. Our workshop is over. We will be on for a few more minutes if you have any last minute questions.
When is the
Thank
next-
you and have a wonderful weekend.
When is the next meeting?